Welcome to episode 1 of my new series, Rewind and Heal. Now, in this series, we're going to talk about getting into the deep-ended roots of where you are now and how you got there. Okay, we're going to relax, we're going to rewind, go back to childhood, and then we're going to heal a little bit. So sit back and get in and let's get into it. I'm Denise Brady, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and we gotta talk about the way you treat yourself. We always talk about the way other people treat you, but what about how you treat yourself? How do you treat yourself? Is it like your mother treated you? Is it like your father treated you? Is it in toxic ways and healthy ways? We don't talk enough about how you should treat yourself. Okay. Now, as a therapist, I see a lot of people come into my office and we focus on self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence. But to me, these are different things. See, now your self-worth, that's on the inside. Now your self-esteem, that's what you pour in. Okay. But confidence is on the outside. Okay. And think about, are you a person who appears confident on the outside, but on the inside you are not? Where does your confidence come from? What are you pouring into you? What are you scrolling past, listening to, watching on TV? And how do those things perpetuate and pour into the foundation of yourself? So, looking at you as a child and your self-esteem and your self-worth, where does it start? Did your mother pour into you? Did your father pour into you? Maybe you live with an aunt, uncle. What was poured into you? Okay? Was it that you can wear whatever you want? Did you have a voice? Because now all those things that you were missing and probably needed as a child show up in how you show up in the world. Okay. Maybe it was that you were a little curvier. You were a little darker. Maybe you were a little heavier. So your parents told you you can only dress a certain way to cover up the curves, to cover up the overdeveloped body. See, we also don't talk enough about that in the Black community, how our bodies develop faster than our counterparts. And sometimes that means you can be an 8-year-old developed, a 9-year-old developed, and unfortunately the things you have to go through as a child because you are overly developed. How family members look at you, peers, sisters, brothers, your mama. Okay? Think about that, how all those things affected you as a child and you never really talked about them. How we don't talk about enough in our community. How being a child who looks like a woman and the things that you went through, the things that you suffered through, and now you're trying to come to terms with those things, that affects your self-worth and the foundation of who you are. Do you lead with your body? Do you lead with your mind? As a child, how did you build relationships? Okay, was it through image, body image, or was it through mental? Did you learn only early on that your body can be used to get what you need? Or was your body taken from you? There are going to be a lot of trigger warnings here in this series, this conversation, because we're talking about a lot of deeper things. Once again, we're getting to the roots. We're rewinding and we're healing. But the only way to do that is if we talk about some of those things that nobody wants to talk about. Okay? And your self-worth and your self-esteem. Those things, those people you grew up around. What they say. What were they doing? Okay? Have you worked through those things? Are you suppressing it? And not realizing that all those things that you are deep in your subconscious that as a therapist, I know how to bring up. Because I do. Are they just have you shackled? Are you living the life that you really want to live? Because when I think about some of the clients that I work with and some of those issues, coming to terms with your body. Do you have ownership of your body? Because a lot of people have been through some things growing up where people in their lives took their innocence. And so now as an adult, you're trying to build a relationship with yourself, your body, and know that your body belongs to me, and that learning how to deal with and accept that I do own my own body. It is mine. It doesn't belong to anybody else. Dealing with the guilt and the shame of some of the things you have been through. Okay? Ask yourself, What is the relationship that you have with your body? Is it one that you created? Or is it one that somebody told you you should have created for yourself? Because growing up in the Black community, we deal with so much colorism, body image. Everywhere we turn, somebody's making a comment about our body, our hair. You too skinny, you too big. When you gonna do something with that hair? Our body images are such a pivotal role in how we grow up and how people see us. And unfortunately, sometimes all they see is our bodies, the color of our skin. And just like them on the outside see that stuff in our own families. Were you the darker sister? Were you the lighter skinned sister? Okay. Do you feel like you were treated differently because you were the darker skinned sister? Okay. And some of the things that you went through that nobody knows about. The pain, the hurt that you're trying to work through. Okay. But I want you to tap into yourself and recognize, do I really feel connected to my body? I walk in it, I wake up in it every day, I look at it every day, but do I feel like I have ownership? Is it mine? Okay? And think about, how am I showing up? How does my relationship with my body and myself show up in my relationships? Okay? Do other people feel like they get my body and I'm somewhere else mentally? When it comes to my body being a part of my relationship with men, women, whoever I identify with, am I in those moments? Or because of the things that I have gone through as a child, do I tend to dissociate to get through those physical experiences with my body because I don't have a connection? I've been through so many different traumas within my body that it's just too hard for me to sit in and enjoy pleasure and things like that. Okay? And now if you don't know a lot about, people who live with and dissociate, we all dissociate a little bit. It's just a level of, where does your dissociation come from? How does it impact you? But we all do it a little bit. And in some ways, we don't talk about it. Because I think there are different levels to disassociating. And I think, when I think about it as a therapist, we all zone out a little bit. Okay, you can be driving and not realizing like, oh, I started daydreaming about something. That's a little bit of dissociation. But more of the worrisome dissociation is more when you are totally disconnected. Okay? And a lot of people tend to dissociate when they are having physical experiences with their bodies and they don't have the best relationship with their bodies, or a history of positive experiences with intimacy. All right? So that is another perspective of having a relationship and developing a sense of self, confidence, self-esteem, and a connection to your body. How are those things talked about? Did your mom explain to you different changes in your body? Did you have to learn on your own? Did your friends tell you? Did you go over a friend's house and they showed you some videos, things like that? Developing a better relationship with yourself. I want to start talking about physically developing a relationship with yourself. What does that look like? When is the last time you really thought about the relationship you have with your body? Do you think about those things? Okay. Do you think about how the impact of the things you have gone through as a child with your body impact you now as an adult? All right. Sit with it. I like to do a little bit of deep breathing exercise in some of my videos because I know that the words, the things that these videos bring up in you can bring up some different feelings and emotions. And I want you to check in right now. Where are you feeling it? If you're feeling anything, is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Check in with yourself. Okay? Am I becoming activated? What is this video bringing up in me? But I want us to navigate this road of developing relationships with our bodies, talking about the things that we missed, the conversations that were taboo, and how we had to figure out a lot of things on our own as women, through friends, through relationships. Sometimes you were in the moment with a person having something physically happen, and you didn't know what to do. You didn't even know what you were experiencing because it was never talked about. There was so much shame and tabooness when it comes to navigating our bodies. And there's just so many things that we just don't talk about. Pleasure, discovery, self-discovery, and how a lot of people don't have relationships with their bodies and how that affects self-esteem and self-worth. It all starts inside. So I want you to think about the impact of some of those early relationships with yourself, with others, with your body, colorism, weight, size, the little comments that we always hear. It's never ending. As soon as you walk into the door, what your mama, your grandma say, your auntie, it's not about where your man at, when you'll get a man. It's, you need to put some weight on, huh? You're losing weight. When you gonna do something with that hair? You know them comments, okay? But I want to know your thoughts as we open up this series. It's just an opener today of the Rewind and Heal series that we're going to be starting. And I want to know your comments. Let me know below. What do you guys want to talk about in this series? What are your thoughts about what we're discussing thus far? Do you have a relationship with your body? Do you? And where does your self-esteem, self-worth, and confidence come from? Have you thought about it? Okay, but this is just episode 1 of the Rewind and Heal series. Is it a podcast? No, is it? Okay, but of course I want to know your thoughts. Let me know what you got from this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.